Hi, my name is EJ Massa. I'm hard at work at my next batch of EJ reviews, but I thought I'd take a short break from making those to review something. Guys, I think I have a problem. Alcoholism. I mean, reviewing things. I just can't stop. Anyways, I just finished watching Netflix's new show, Stranger Things, and I just goddamn loved it. Now, I wouldn't say it's high art or anything, but it does capture that fun and blockbuster feel of the 80s while also modernizing it to the high quality standards that we come to expect from television nowadays. For those who don't know, and without giving too much away, the show focuses on a group of D&D loving kids who live in this sleepy town and a bunch of paranormal shit happens to them, so they have to go on an adventure and solve the mystery. And stylistically, it borrows heavily from E.T., Goonies, Stephen King, and some H.P. Lovecraft for good measure. Even though it uses a lot of these visual elements from other media, it never feels like a ripoff. It's very character-driven, and it feels like its own thing. It's almost like Shovel Knight in that respect, taking elements from other video games, but modernizing them and combining them to form a new identity. Being that it's the 80s, the show uses synth heavily, and it's awesome. And the intro font kind of looks like a Stephen King novel, and it totally puts you in the mood for the show. Shows and movies have been utilizing synth a lot lately. Cinemax The Nick comes to mind. And that's kind of weird because it's a period piece, but it still kind of works. In Stranger Things, they use it, and it just feels right at home. In the 80s, synth sounded cheap and tinny to me, but here it sounds really great, so synth technology must have improved over the years. I guess we made new technology. Apple iPhones. Computers, robot dogs, maybe. Now you might be skeptical because it stars a bunch of kid actors, and kid actors notoriously suck. But on the contrary, they feel very natural. It's like the kind of kids you grew up with. And the girl who plays the mysterious 11 says very little, but totally nails a powerful performance. I think there's a temptation in television to have what I call prop children. Dexter was notorious for this. Children with very thin characterizations that only serve as props or hindrances for the real characters, and it just takes me out of the show because of how blatantly obvious it is and how bad the actors are. Luckily, these kids feel real with great casting, writing, and direction. There are three main plots focusing on the kids, the grown-ups, and a teen angst storyline. All three of those groups interact with the mystery of the town in their own way, and the show expertly converges them toward the climax, and it's very well done and feels effortless. There's been a lot of comparisons of this show with the movie Super 8, and people saying how this show succeeded where Super 8 failed. And I think that's kind of true, but this show did have 8 hours to fully flesh out its characters, while Super 8 only had 2, so I think the characters took a back seat in Super 8 and just focused on the plot, while Stranger Things had more time to breathe, had time to really flesh out those characters so that when crazy shit starts happening, you cared about the characters, and you cared about what was happening. All in all, Netflix has just been surprising me with their original programming, especially Stranger Things, because I felt like it came out of nowhere. And I don't know who them Duffer Brothers are, but they got a funny name. And I look forward to what they come up with next, because this is a fantastic start. The show used nostalgia in a way that all these reboot movies have failed, and they managed to create something original. How about that? A couple of announcements before I go. I am creating a new batch of EJ reviews, including a Zelda 2 Adventures of Link review, and I'm going to go back to Season 1 of Game of Thrones, do an episode-by-episode review. Stay tuned for that. I may also do some streaming of Zelda 2 while I'm capturing footage for the review, and when I do that, I'll announce it on my Twitter, at EJ Massa, or on the subreddit /r/Red Cow Entertainment. Bet. Also, our new website is up, redcowentertainment.com. You can go there, put my name in that search bar, and all my stuff will come up, and you can check that out there. That's it for now. See you next time.